You are about to learn the single most important skill of your life. The world is engineered to trigger you, to pull your strings, to hijack your focus and drain your energy. You feel the chaos, the noise, the constant pressure to react. This ends now. This book is your blueprint. We are not here to manage your emotions. We are here to master them. We are building an unshakable inner core, a mental fortress that makes you immune to the turbulence. Stop being a passenger in your own mind. It is time to take the seat of command. Listen closely. You feel the heat rise in your chest. Your heart hammers against your ribs. Your thoughts start to race, a chaotic spiral you can't control. You are having a reaction. And in this moment, you believe you are your anger, your panic, your fear. You are wrong. What you are experiencing is not a character flaw. It is a biological cascade. A predictable, mechanical process happening inside your own body. To master it, you must first dissect it. This is not about philosophy. This is about function. This is the anatomy of an emotional reaction. Let's be clear. An emotional reaction is not a conscious choice. It is a survival mechanism that has outlived its context. It is your body's ancient software kicking in, a system designed for literal life and death threats. We call this the amygdala hijack. Your amygdala, a small almond-shaped cluster in your brain, is your threat radar. It operates faster than your conscious thought. When it perceives a threat, it sounds the alarm. It doesn't think. It reacts. It floods your system with cortisol and adrenaline. Your prefrontal cortex, the seat of your logic, your reason, your conscious control, gets shut down. It's taken offline. This is biology, not destiny. Understanding this is the first step to reclaiming your power. Think of the last time you received a harsh, critical email. The moment you read those words, what happened? You didn't logically decide to feel your stomach clench. You didn't choose for your breathing to become shallow. The reaction happened to you. Your amygdala registered the criticism as a social threat, a modern-day predator. The hijack began. Or when you're cut off in traffic. The surge of rage is instantaneous. Your body is preparing for a fight that doesn't exist. Your hands grip the wheel. Your jaw tightens. This is the cascade in action. It's the same physiological response our ancestors had facing a saber-toothed tiger, now triggered by a text message or a bad driver. You are not weak for experiencing this. You are human, but you are responsible for learning to intercept it. This is biology, not destiny. Repeat that. This is biology, not destiny. You are not broken. You are running on old software, and software can be updated. You are not your amygdala's puppet. The feeling of being out of control is the feeling of your conscious mind being sidelined by an ancient protector. The goal is not to destroy the protector, but to retrain it. To become the operator of your own system. See the cascade, stop the cascade. This is the fundamental skill. You must learn to recognize the physical signs, the flushed face, the quickened pulse, the shallow breath, as signals of the hijack. They are not the emotion itself. They are the symptoms of the process. Every time you feel that surge and believe it is the absolute truth, you reinforce the hijack. You tell your brain its emergency protocol is correct. But when you pause and name it, this is an amygdala hijack. This is a cortisol surge. This is my body's alarm system. You do something profound. You introduce a sliver of space. You bring a flicker of conscious awareness back online. This is biology, not destiny. That phrase is your weapon. Use it. In the meeting when you feel personally attacked, whisper it to yourself. This is biology. When the social media comment sends you spiraling, state it firmly. This is a hijack. When the fear of failure paralyzes you before you even begin, declare it. This is my amygdala. It is not me. You are not your amygdala's puppet. The puppet reacts when the strings are pulled. The master sees the strings and chooses whether to move. Your biology pulls the strings. Your awareness is the master. This is what separates the reactive from the responsive, the amateur from the master, the victim from the victor. The reactive person is a passenger in a car with a faulty alarm, swerving at every false trigger. The master is the driver who hears the alarm, acknowledges it, but keeps a firm hand on the wheel. See the cascade, stop the cascade. This isn't a one-time event. It is a lifetime of practice. It is the relentless discipline of self-observation. You now know the truth. The emotional storm you feel has a structure. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. It is a process you can observe. And what you can observe, you can manage. What you can understand, you can master. This is biology, not destiny. You are not powerless against your own nervous system. You have the blueprint. You have seen the wiring. The chaos now has a name. And a named enemy is a conquerable enemy. But knowledge without action is useless. Knowing about the hijack is not enough. You must build the tool to stop it. You must learn to reclaim the critical territory that this biological process steals from you. The space between the trigger and everything that follows. The trigger pulls. The email arrives. The criticism lands. The event happens. And then there it is. The reaction. The outburst. The spiral. You believe it's instantaneous. That the trigger and the reaction are one. This is the great lie of the unmastered mind. Between the stimulus and your response, there is a space. A fraction of a second. A territory of pure potential. In that space lies your freedom. In that space lies your power. Your entire emotional destiny is decided there. This chapter is about claiming that territory as your own. It is about building your sovereignty in that gap. Viktor Frankl, a man who survived the ultimate hell, gave us the ultimate truth. Between stimulus and response there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. In our response lies our growth and our freedom. This is not poetry. This is the operational manual for emotional mastery. The amygdala hijack we dissected in the last chapter exists to eliminate this space. Your mission is to weaponize your awareness to expand it. In the gap, I find my power. This is the fundamental truth you will burn into your nervous system. That gap is not empty. It is filled with your breath. It is filled with your awareness. It is filled with your choice. Let's make this practical. Your boss sends a terse, demanding email. The stimulus, the old you, the reactive you, feels the heat, the panic, the defensiveness. The finger hovers over the keyboard to fire off a reactive, career-limiting reply. This is the moment. This is the gap. The mastered version of you does something different. You see the email. You feel the physiological surge, that's the hijack. And then you enact the protocol. You lean back. You place your hands on the desk. And you take one single, deliberate breath. A tactical breath. In for 4 counts. Hold for 4. Out for 6. That breath is you planting your flag in the gap. My breath is my break. In that 5-second breath, you have done the impossible. You have given your prefrontal cortex a chance to come back online. You have created distance. You are no longer the reaction. You are the observer of the reaction. Another scenario, you're in a heated argument. The person across from you says the thing that always triggers you. The stimulus. The old you would lash out or shut down. The mastered you feel the urge to react. And you choose consciously to say nothing for 3 full seconds. You feel the emotion, you acknowledge it, and you let it pass through you without becoming it. I own the space. In that silence, you are more powerful than any shouted word. In the gap, I find my power. This is the mantra you will repeat until it becomes autonomic. Every time you feel the pull to react, you will hear this in your mind. This is the reprogramming. My breath is my break. Your breath is the most powerful, portable tool you have for nervous system regulation. It is the switch that flips you from sympathetic dominance, fight or flight, to parasympathetic dominance, rest and digest. You are not just breathing. You are commanding your biology. I own the space. Ownership is everything. This space does not belong to the person who triggered you. It does not belong to your past conditioning. It belongs to you. It is your sovereign territory. Defend it with your life. This is what separates the amateur from the master. The amateur is a slave to the stimulus. The master owns the response. The amateur believes they have no choice. The master knows that choice is all they have. Stop reacting. Start responding. This is the behavioral shift. A reaction is emotional, impulsive, and often leads to regret. A response is considered, deliberate, and aligned with your long-term goals. A reaction is what happens when you lose the gap. A response is what happens when you conquer it. Remember, the size of your gap determines the quality of your life. A microscopic gap means a life of drama, conflict, and regret. An expanded gap means a life of purpose, peace, and power. You have the theory. You have the tool, the breath, the pause, the conscious choice. This is how you stop being a puppet to your environment. This is how you end the cycle of reaction and regret. You own the space. You have claimed the territory of your freedom. But a sovereign needs a fortress, a quiet, unassailable place of peace from which to rule. You have the space. Now, we must build the structure within it. You have claimed the space. You own the gap between trigger and response. But a king cannot rule from an empty field. A general cannot command from an open plain. Sovereignty requires a fortress. Power requires a base of operations. That base is not a place you visit. It is a state you build within your own body and mind. A citadel of unshakable calm that you can access at will, no matter the chaos outside its walls. This is not about suppressing emotion. This is about constructing a physiological and psychological stronghold so resilient that external storms cannot breach it. It is time to build. The principle is non-negotiable. Your mind and body are one single integrated system. You cannot have a chaotic body and a calm mind. You cannot have a slumped, defeated posture and feel powerful. Your physiology is the foundation of your psychology. This is the bedrock truth of somatic psychology and neuroscience. To forge calm, you must first build it with the raw materials of your own flesh, breath, and posture. My body builds my fortress. Every conscious adjustment to your physical state is another stone laid in the wall of your inner citadel. You are not waiting to feel calm. You are using your body to command your mind to become calm. This is the difference between passivity and mastery. Let's make this tangible. Scenario: you are about to walk into a high-stakes meeting. Your heart is racing. The old, reactive you would try to think positive, while your body screams, danger. The mastered you operates differently. 2 minutes before you enter, you find a private space. You stand tall. You pull your shoulders back. You lift your chest. You plant your feet firmly on the ground. You take 5 deep, deliberate, tactical breaths. You are not just standing and breathing. You are architecting your state. Posture dictates state. Your expanded posture signals safety to your brain, dialing down the amygdala hijack. You are physically embodying confidence, and your mind has no choice but to follow. Another scenario: you receive bad news. The instinct is to collapse inward, to slump, to let your head fall. The mastered version of you does the opposite. You consciously square your shoulders. You straighten your spine. You look up. You might even force the slightest subtle smile, a direct command to your nervous system to release neuropeptides of well-being. I wear calm like armor. This is not fake. It is functional. It is you taking the driver's seat of your own biology. My body builds my fortress. This is your mantra. Repeat it as you stand tall at your desk. Repeat it as you breathe deeply in traffic. Repeat it as you consciously relax your jaw during a difficult conversation. Your body is the tool and the citadel is the result. Posture dictates state. This is a non-negotiable law. A slumped body creates a defeated mind. An empowered body creates a capable mind. You cannot think like a victor from the physiology of a victim. I wear calm like armor. Your calm is not a fragile, inner feeling to be protected. It is a suit of armor you actively put on through your physical presence. It is proactive, not reactive. Stop waiting to feel calm. Start building the posture of calm. This is the fundamental shift. The amateur waits for the external world to grant them a moment of peace. The master constructs their peace from the inside out, using their own body as the primary instrument. Remember, your physiology is the dial for your psychology. You are turning the dial consciously. You are not a passenger hoping the temperature in the car will adjust itself. You are the driver reaching for the controls. Every deliberate breath is a stone laid. Every straightened spine is a wall raised. Every grounded stance is the foundation deepening. Your citadel is built, stone by stone, breath by breath. It stands within you, a permanent structure of calm. From this fortress, you can observe the chaos of the world without being consumed by it. You can respond from a place of unshakable strength. But a fortress is not just walls and silence. It requires a code, a law that governs it, a system of trust that ensures its integrity. The walls are built. Now we must install the governing principle. You have the space. You have the citadel. But a fortress without a loyal garrison is just an empty shell. That garrison is your self-trust. And right now, you are likely taking that garrison for granted. You believe self-trust is a feeling, a vague sense of confidence. You are wrong. Self-trust is not a feeling. It is a record, a ledger of evidence. It is the unbreakable language of promises made and promises kept. Not to others, to yourself. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you shatter the foundation of your inner core. Every time you keep one, you forge a brick of unshakable steel. It is time to audit your ledger. The psychology is clear. Self-trust is born from integrity. Specifically, integrity with the self. It is the congruence between what you say you will do and what you actually do. This congruence builds what psychologists call self-efficacy, the bedrock belief that you can handle what life throws at you. This isn't built in grand, sweeping gestures. It is built in the silent, microscopic moments of choice. I trust myself because I do what I say I will. This is the equation. Action equals trust. Inaction erodes it. There is no middle ground. You are either building your record of evidence or you are destroying it. Let's look at the evidence. You tell yourself you will wake up at 6 a.m. The alarm screams. You hit snooze. That is not a simple act of fatigue. That is a breach of contract with your own soul. The ledger records a failure. You feel the subtle erosion of trust for the rest of the day. Conversely, you tell yourself you will go for a 10-minute walk. You don't feel like it. You go anyway. That is not just exercise. That is a deposit in the bank of self-trust. The ledger records a victory. You feel a quiet surge of capability. Or you have a task you've been avoiding, a messy closet, a difficult email. You promise yourself you will do it today. You find a million excuses. You break the promise. The cost is not a messy closet. The cost is the silent, corrosive whisper, I cannot rely on me. My word is my law. When your internal word becomes law, your character becomes unassailable. I trust myself because I do what I say I will. This is the mantra you must live by. Say it when you are tempted to break the small promise. It is the small promises that matter most. The grand, sweeping vows are the lies we tell ourselves to compensate for breaking the tiny, daily ones. My word is my law. This is the standard. If you say you will not check your phone first thing in the morning, that is law. If you say you will read 10 pages, that is law. There is no court of appeal. You are the legislator, the police, and the judge. Every kept promise is a brick in the core. This is the visual. Every time you follow through, you are not just completing a task. You are placing a solid, weight-bearing brick into the structure of your unshakable self. A broken promise is a crack in the foundation. Stop making grand vows. Start keeping tiny promises. This is the shift. The amateur makes a loud, public declaration about changing their entire life. The master silently commits to making their bed, and does it. The amateur's foundation is built on the sand of intention. The master's foundation is built on the granite of microactions. Remember, trust is earned in the smallest of moments. It is earned in the moment you choose water over soda because you said you would. It is earned in the moment you shut down the distraction and focus for 25 minutes. These are not trivialities. They are the sacred rituals of self-trust. Your ledger is clearing. The evidence is mounting. With every kept promise, the garrison within your citadel grows stronger, more loyal. You are becoming a person you can rely on. This internal trust is the bedrock. But a fortress, no matter how strong, must interact with the world. Cannot draw its bridges and hide forever. You must learn to engage without being captured. You must master the art of strategic engagement. You have the space. You have the fortress. You have the inner garrison of self-trust. Now, we face the final test of your sovereignty, the outside world. You have been taught that engagement is strength, that caring deeply about everything is a virtue. This is a lie that keeps you in chains. True power is not in gripping everything tightly. It is in knowing what to hold and what to release. It is in engaging with the world on your terms, from your citadel without being captured by it. This is not indifference. This is intelligence. This is the art of strategic detachment. The principle is ancient and unyielding, the Stoic dichotomy of control. All of human suffering comes from confusing what is within our control with what is not. Your opinions, your judgments, your actions, your responses, this is your empire. The opinions of others, external events, past outcomes, the weather, this is foreign territory. Strategic detachment is the mental discipline of radical focus on your empire and conscious release of everything else. Control the controllable, release the rest. This is not a passive surrender. It is an active, strategic decision to deploy your energy only where it can have an effect. Your attention is your most precious resource. Stop spending it on things that cannot change. Let's make this brutally practical. Scenario: you pour your soul into a project proposal. You submit it. The outcome, whether it's approved, rejected, or ignored, is now outside your control. The reactive you refreshes your email, agonizes over the decision, and crafts angry internal monologues. You have left your citadel and are now camping out in the chaotic wilderness of an outcome you cannot command. The mastered you? You did your best work. You submitted it. You mentally release the outcome. You turn your attention to the next actionable item in your empire. My energy is for my circle of control. Another scenario. Someone spreads a rumor about you. Their opinion and their words are their territory. You trying to control their opinion is a fool's errand, a drain of your sovereign energy. Your empire is your character, your integrity, and your response. You choose not to engage in the gossip. You hold your head high. You are defined by your actions, not their words. I am defined by my actions, not my circumstances. You are like a rock in the ocean. The waves, external events, may crash against you, but they do not move you from your center. Control the controllable, release the rest. This is your filter for every single disturbance. When anxiety rises, you apply the filter. Is this within my control? If not, you release it. This is a conscious, deliberate act. My energy is for my circle of control. Your focus, your effort, your mental bandwidth, this is your sovereign currency. Stop paying ransoms to problems that do not belong to you. Stop trying to solve puzzles you were never meant to solve. I am defined by my actions, not my circumstances. This is the core of your identity. You are not a victim of what happens to you. You are the architect of your response. Your character is not shaped by the storm, but by how you build your ship. Stop trying to control everything. Start commanding your focus. This is the shift. The amateur is exhausted, trying to manage the unmanageable external world. The master is energized, having channeled all their power into their own domain. The amateur is reactive, blown about by every wind. The master is responsive, their compass always set to their own true north. Remember, your peace is the price of admission for your attention. When you give your attention to something outside your control, you are purchasing anxiety with the currency of your peace. Is it worth the cost? You have learned to guard your gates, to conserve your sovereign energy for the battles you can actually win. You engage with the world strategically from a position of unassailable inner strength. But a master must not only manage external chaos. They must also command the very landscape of their own mind. They must become the master of their own focus, the architect of their own reality. You have learned to detach from the external world. But there is a final, more insidious frontier of control, the internal world of your own focus. Your attention is not just a spotlight you shine. It is the very architect of your brain and the sculptor of your reality. What you consistently focus on, your brain reinforces. What you feed grows. You are either deliberately directing your attention or you are surrendering it to whatever is loudest. To master your life, you must first master what you pay attention to. It is time to become the undisputed commander of your focus. The neuroscience is unequivocal. Your brain operates on the principle of Hebb's law. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Your repeated thoughts and focus points carve deep neural pathways, making certain patterns of thinking and feeling your automatic default. This is neuroplasticity. Your attention is the chisel. If you focus on threat, you build a brain primed for anxiety. If you focus on solutions, you build a brain engineered for capability. What I feed grows. This is not a metaphor. It is a biological fact. Your attention is the fertilizer for your mental landscape. You are, quite literally, gardening your mind with every click, every scroll, every thought you entertain. Let's make this operational. Scenario: you wake up and immediately check the news and social media. You are feeding your brain a breakfast of chaos, outrage, and other people's curated highlights. You are wiring your mind for distraction and comparison before your day has even begun. The mastered version of you? The first hour is a sacred protocol. You might focus on a page of a book, a moment of planning your day, or a period of silence. You are feeding your brain intention and clarity. My focus forges my reality. Another scenario: you face a problem at work. The reactive you obsesses over the problem itself, ruminating on how unfair it is, how difficult it is. You are fertilizing the weed of helplessness. The mastered you acknowledges the problem and immediately shifts focus to a single, actionable step. What is the very first physical action I can take? You are fertilizing the seed of agency. Discipline your attention. Command your life. This is the practice of redirecting your focus from the problem's immensity to the solution's simplicity. What I feed grows. This is your constant audit. Ask yourself throughout the day, what am I feeding right now? Am I feeding my focus or my distraction? Am I feeding my competence or my fear? My focus forges my reality. The reality you experience is a direct reflection of what you have consistently focused on. A reality of anxiety is forged by a focus on threats. A reality of opportunity is forged by a focus on action. Discipline your attention. Command your life. This is the ultimate expression of your power. You are not a passive consumer of information and experience. You are an active director, curating the inputs that will shape your future self. Stop consuming chaos. Start curating your focus. This is the non-negotiable command. The amateur is a dumping ground for whatever the algorithm serves. The master has a strict diet for their mind. The amateur's attention is pulled by the latest notification. The master's attention is pushed by their deliberate intent. Remember, your attention is the most valuable currency you possess. Spend it wisely. Every minute of focused attention is an investment in the neural architecture of your future. Every minute of scattered attention is a debt you will pay in anxiety and lack of control. You are no longer a spectator in your own mind. You are the commander, deliberately directing the most powerful force you possess, your attention. You have built the structure of your unshakable core. But a structure is useless without the energy to power it. There is one final, potent source of energy you have been misusing, a force you have been treating as an enemy. It is time to recruit it. You have built the structure. You command your attention. But a fortress without power is a dark, cold tomb. You need energy. And you have been wasting the most potent source you possess. You have been treating fear as the enemy, as a stop sign, as a signal to retreat. You have misunderstood it completely. Fear is not your enemy. It is your fuel. It is the raw, undifferentiated energy of preparation and significance. Your mission is not to eliminate it, but to transmute it, to alchemize its chaotic fire into the silent, focused power of concentration. It is time to reframe your entire relationship with fear. The psychology is clear. The physiological state of fear is nearly identical to the physiological state of excitement. The same racing heart, the same heightened awareness, the same surge of adrenaline. The only difference is the cognitive label your brain applies to the sensation. This is the principle of cognitive reappraisal. You have the power to relabel the experience. You are not a victim of the feeling. You are the interpreter of the signal. Fear is fuel. The energy you feel is pure potential. It is your body's way of preparing for a peak performance. It is not a sign that you are weak. It is proof that you are stepping into something that matters. Excitement and fear are the same energy. The master does not feel less fear. They simply call it by a different name. Let's make this operational. Scenario: you have to give a major presentation. The old you would feel the knot in your stomach, the dry mouth, and interpret it as, I'm terrified. I'm going to fail. This cognitive label ensures you will perform from a place of contraction and anxiety. The mastered you feels the exact same physiological symptoms, but you lean into them. You say to yourself, I am excited. My body is preparing. This energy is my fuel. You reframe the sensation from a threat to a challenge. This is not a threat, it is a test. Another scenario: you are about to have a difficult conversation. The fear of conflict arises. The reactive you avoids it, letting the issue fester. The mastered you recognizes the fear as a signal of the conversation's importance. You use the heightened awareness it provides to choose your words more carefully, to listen more intently. You are not calming down. You are sharpening up. I am being sharpened. The friction is not breaking you. It is honing you. Fear is fuel. Repeat this until it becomes an automatic reflex. When the anxiety hits before a job interview, a difficult workout, or a social event, your first thought must be, this is fuel. How will I use it? Excitement and fear are the same energy. You are not lying to yourself. You are telling yourself a more useful truth. You are switching the channel from a narrative of disaster to a narrative of opportunity. This is not a threat, it is a test. I am being sharpened. This is the warrior's mindset. Every challenge is a test of your new skills, your emotional control, your disciplined focus, your inner citadel. You welcome the test because it proves your growth. Stop running from the feeling. Start using the energy. This is the critical behavioral shift. The amateur feels the fear and freezes or flees. The master feels the fear and leans in. The amateur sees a wall. The master sees a ramp. Remember, the obstacle is not in the way. The obstacle is the way. The fear is not a barrier to your action. The conscious movement through the fear is the action that forges your inner strength. The energy of fear is the raw material of courage. You cannot have courage without it. You have harnessed the final energy source. You are no longer drained by fear. You are powered by it. The structure is complete. The power is on. But there is one final perspective shift required. To truly master this new system, you cannot be the system. You must become the one who watches it. You must step back and observe the machine of your own mind from a place of total detachment. You have built the architecture. You command the energy. But there is one final master-level skill. The ultimate perspective shift that separates a temporary state of control from permanent self-mastery. You must learn to decouple your identity from the contents of your own mind. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the conscious awareness that witnesses them. You have been living inside the storm, believing you are the rain and the wind. It is time to step back into the eye of the hurricane, into the silent, unmoving center where you are the observer, not the victim. This is the principle of metacognition, the ability to think about your own thinking. It is the highest function of the human brain. When you are fused with your thoughts, you are controlled by them. I am angry means you have become the anger. It dictates your actions. When you observe your thoughts, you create a fundamental separation. I am noticing the thought that I am angry means the anger is an object in your awareness, and you are the subject. I am the watcher, not the thought. This is the final layer of detachment. This is not suppressing the emotion. It is seeing it for what it is, a temporary passing cloud in the vast sky of your awareness. I host my emotions. They do not possess me. Let's make this tangible. Scenario: the thought arises, I'm going to fail, and everyone will see I'm a fraud. The fused, victim-minded you believes this is a truth being broadcast about your identity. You spiral into anxiety and shame. The mastered, observer you notices the thought. You say to yourself, I am having the thought that I am a fraud. This simple linguistic shift creates immense psychological distance. The thought loses its power. It becomes a piece of data, not a decree. Observe, don't absorb. Another scenario. A surge of jealousy arrives. The old you would act out, make accusations, or internalize the pain. The observer you feels the heat of the emotion, acknowledges its presence, and simply watches it. There is jealousy. You do not need to obey it. You do not need to analyze it to death. You simply let it be, knowing it will pass because all states are temporary. This too shall pass. By not fighting it, you rob it of its energy. I am the watcher, not the thought. This is your foundational mantra. Your thoughts are like radio stations broadcasting. You are the one who chooses whether to listen. I host my emotions. They do not possess me. You are the silent, spacious room. The emotions are visitors. Some are welcome, some are not. But you are always the room, never the visitor. Observe, don't absorb. This is the practical instruction. Stop taking ownership of every mental event. See it. Label it. Let it go. You are practicing non-identification. You are reclaiming your identity as the conscious space in which the drama of your mind unfolds. Stop believing every thought you have. Start witnessing them with detachment. This is the final, liberating shift. The amateur is a slave to their internal narrative, a prisoner in their own mind. The master is the warden of their mind, a compassionate but firm observer of the inmates. The amateur is lost in the movie, crying at the sad parts. The master remembers they are in the theater, watching images on a screen. Remember, you are the sky, not the weather. Your fundamental consciousness is constant, clear, and unchanging. The thoughts and emotions are just passing storms, clouds, and sunshine. They cannot harm the sky itself. You have arrived at the summit. You are no longer a prisoner of your own mind, but the masterful observer of its landscape. You have the space, the fortress, the trust, the detachment, the focus, the fuel, and now the ultimate perspective. All the components are in place. There is only one thing left to do. You must stop practicing and start being. You must integrate this entire system into your permanent identity. This is the end of the beginning. You have the blueprint. You have the tools. You have the perspective. But knowledge is not power. Applied knowledge is power. Right now, these skills are conscious competencies. You must think to use them. The final step, the ultimate mastery, is to make this system your unconscious, automatic identity. You must move from doing the work to being the result. Your unshakable core is not a tool you pick up. It is the hand that picks up the tool. It is time to stop practicing and start being. The psychology is definitive. Lasting change occurs at the level of identity. You do not rise to the level of your goals. You fall to the level of your systems, and your deepest system is your identity. The person you believe yourself to be dictates the actions you consistently take. The amateur sees a disciplined action as something they should do. The master sees it as something they cannot avoid doing because it is who they are. This is who I am now. This is the final, self-reinforcing loop. Your actions prove your identity, and your identity dictates your actions. You are not building a new skill set. You are becoming a new person. Let's make this your lived reality. Scenario: a crisis hits at work. The old identity would feel panic, seek external validation, and react from fear. The new identity, the person with an unshakable core, does not need to run through a checklist. They don't think, what would a calm person do? They are calm. Their response is automatic. They assess, they breathe, they act from a place of grounded certainty. I am calm in the chaos. Another scenario: you face a temptation to break a promise to yourself. The old you would negotiate. The new you doesn't entertain the thought. The internal response is immediate. I am not someone who breaks promises to myself. The decision is made before the internal debate can even begin. My core is unshakable. You are no longer acting from willpower, but from identity. I do not react, I respond. This is your new autonomic nervous system. This is who I am now. This is not an affirmation. It is a declaration of fact to your subconscious mind. You must say it. And then you must act as if it is irrevocably true until your nervous system has no choice but to accept it. I am calm in the chaos. This is your baseline state. Chaos is external data. It is no longer an internal command. My core is unshakable. This is your non-negotiable truth. It is the bedrock upon which every decision, every reaction, and every day is built. I do not react, I respond. This is your new default setting. The gap is no longer something you create. It is the very space you inhabit. Stop trying to be disciplined. Start believing you are disciplined. This is the final shift. The amateur uses motivation. The master is powered by identity. The amateur hopes to feel like acting. The master acts because it is their nature. The question is no longer, what should I do? The question is, what would the person I have become do now? And then you do it. Remember, you are one decision away from a different identity. Every time you choose the mastered response, you cast a vote for your new self. Soon, the election is over. The result is final. You have won. The architecture is complete. The transformation is total. You began as a reactor, buffeted by the external world and your own internal storms. You now stand as the response, calm, centered, and in command. The work does not end here. It simply becomes effortless. This is not the end of your journey. It is the beginning of your legacy. Go and live from this core. The world needs your strength.